There's a trick to making silky mashed potatoes, but it's not using a whipper, it's using a potato ricer. I've got the recipe coming up here on Cooking with Styles. I've got my potatoes on the stovetop here. I want you to make sure when you cook your potatoes, you start them in cold water and then bring them up to a boil. And once they start boiling, reduce them to a slow simmer, and then that's when you get that silky creaminess of the potatoes. I want you to do something else for your mashed potatoes. I know that looks like a lot of butter, but we're going to be making a lot of mashed potatoes. We've got our cream, butter, and we're going to put in a couple sprigs of thyme and let that steep in that hot milk. And then that'll be what we mix with the potatoes. Let's drain off our potatoes. And what I like to do is I like to let them sit for just, like 3 or 4 minutes to make sure all the water's off of them before I rice them. Now the trick to making these potatoes silky is not mashing them, but instead putting them through a ricer. And you want to put them in the ricer while they're still warm. What that does is 2 things. One is it crushes them completely and makes them nice and smooth. And 2, by not whipping them, it doesn't stretch the gluten. So I'm going to do these and then we'll show you how to put the rest of this together. All right, that's the last of it there. And now, if you don't have a potato ricer, you can make it by mashing them. However, they won't be quite as silky. Now we're going to add our cream in. Our cream, half and half, and butter. But don't put it all in, okay? Because once you get it in and it's all, really wet, then you can't take it out. And you see how fast that starts to get creamy? And so we're going to fold this in. Another thing we haven't done with this is we haven't put any salt in. That's because the Yukon potatoes have a wonderful flavor to them, and we salted the water. Okay, this is ready to get in our dish here, our baking dish, and we'll pop this in the oven. And what I want you to do when this goes in, I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be have texture to it, because that texture will pick up the cheese, and that in the oven under the broiler is going to make it even that much crispier. So we'll just take that and spread it around and let those little peaks and valleys be there. And then we'll just sprinkle our Parmesan cheese on top, put this under the broiler, and you'll have crusty, silky mashed potatoes. I've got the broiler on, and now it's important that you really keep an eye on this. This will only take about 45 seconds to a minute. Okay, it's been about a minute. There you go, look at those. How nice do those look? I kid you not, it takes that little bit of time. And that is what you end up with. Look at the beautiful Parmesan cheese on top. And because we rice these potatoes, that's what makes them so silky and smooth. And we steeped the thyme with the butter and the cream so we could fold it all together and make it nice and hot, get it in the oven, and then put that crust with the Parmesan cheese on top. If you'd like this recipe for silky mashed potatoes with a Parmesan crust, you can go to cbs8.com/recipes. Also, we've got a special coming out for the holidays. That'll be on CBS 8, and you can find it on CBS 8 Plus. Enjoy.